Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Roman Lewcke. He is an ex nanotech founder, photographer, author, creator of the Nomad CEO. It's a newsletter and shares actionable insights of building profitable remote careers, personal branding, and the nomadic lifestyle. He also helps founders achieve breakthroughs with his proven 5 day system. He's passionate about entrepreneurship, self improvement, and a lot of other things. Welcome to the show, Roman.
Thank you so much, Ajay, for having me. I'm really honored.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Roman. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about resilience. We'll talk about resilience for lasting success. We'll talk about a lot of these things. But before that, let's talk a bit about your journey, your background, so that the audience learns a bit more about who they are listening to.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Germany. I'm 47 years old. I was born and raised in a place called Stuttgart, which is in the southern part of Germany. Lived there until I turned 19 or 20, and I immigrated to Mexico at young age. Um, and then what I did there, I studied business administration in a German school, and started as a assistant director for a Swiss company, and got into the corporate world where I learned to basically how products and business was being done, and importation, and all of that stuff. And then lived in Mexico City for almost 5 years, until because when I went to Mexico, I didn't really know if I was going to stay there, and it wasn't really my plan to do that. But it sort of, I don't know, it sort of became longer, and I didn't plan for this, but then it became my home, so to speak. And then um, in 2007, I started my own first business. I founded the Nano Depot, which was my nanotech startup. I basically introduced the silicon dioxide nanotech, nano coating technology to Mexico, which is a coating material to protect all sorts of surfaces. Like, you can protect glass, wood, stone, and so forth. Can be used for a variety of applications in different industries. And that was my baby, so to speak. That was my my first my first company, right? So, and it was really hard because resilient, when we talk about resilience today, it was really hard to get off the ground, because it's these types of businesses where you have a considerable amount of investment to do, right? Because it was in a way, it was a traditional business in a way that you need a merchandise, right? They need those products. In my case, these were dangerous goods. They had to be shipped from Germany, and so it was not easy to get off the ground. We started in a local area in Cancun, Mexico, and on the Caribbean side, because there was a lot of hotel industries, and so we started applying these coating materials in the hotel industry, and so we got some traction. And then after 2-3 years, we opened up a distributor model, where basically we created a network of distributors, and then the company just got bigger and bigger, and it ended up I ended up with, and it got 2018, we have $10 million and 100 and something like distributors in Latin America, South America, even in the United States. And I had manufacturers that were applying our products and all of that. And so this was like the peak. And then we sort of ran into a crisis, and I had to restructure the whole thing. It was not sustainable anymore. I don't want to go too deep into this, but with the pandemic that hit us in 2020, it came together with that already in a precarious state, and then basically that's when I lost everything, right? So I went bankrupt, and I lost the company. We sort of we still there were a lot of struggle involved. So for example, like the fact that we had we made a deal with the subway in Mexico City with the now president of Mexico, where I basically closed the deal, and then that day the subway crashed, 26 people dead, and because of that accident, we couldn't make the deal, and so otherwise I would have saved the company. Like a lot of those almost moments, like three or four of them. My manager back then, he he made a major fraud scheme and a lot of stuff like that, and so this happened, and I realized it was a 2 year process of almost like trying to save the ship from wrecking, from sinking, and then at the end I even invested my life insurance to make this happen. It did not work out, and I lost everything, and that was really like a pivotal moment in my life, because when we're talking about resilience, everything I had worked for so long was just gone. It just evaporated in that moment, and I had to leave Mexico because nothing left. Like I was after that I was left with nothing to my name but a piece of luggage, and so that was it. And that was it's not too long ago. It's like 2021 in December. I left, and I was at that point. So this is just 3 years ago. And then over the last 2.5 years, 3 years, I tried to, because my other besides the entrepreneurship, my other passion has been for a long time photography. So I had a gallery in Mexico too, like a landscape photography art gallery, but I lost that too because of the pandemic. And so tried to do some I tried to go down that road, like the passion of my develop my passion so I could sell prints and stuff, but didn't know how to do it. Was a complete Oh, you're gone.
No, I'm
There
very
was
much
cut
here.
for a moment. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes,
Ah, yeah, okay.
Raman.
um and Yeah, and then from there pivoted into hotel photography. Didn't like it. Tried e-commerce. So I like the shiny object syndrome, and then not really knowing where I was headed, and then in 2023, like a year ago and a half, in October, I said, okay, now you need to focus on something that is aligned with your values, because even though I had lost everything, so deep down, like I don't know what you think about this, but in my opinion, what I found out about myself, I could not cease to be an entrepreneur. This is not something you can unsee. It's like it becomes your being, and so I said, okay, let's start. Let's go into the newsletter business, and I started writing every day. And since then, I've been publishing my newsletter. This is how the Nomad CEO. It started as the Uncharted Road, because when I started it, the Uncharted Road was the name that I that came up because I didn't know where it was headed, and so I said, okay, let's call it like that. And now over the last year and a half, I developed basically relationships with other entrepreneurs and young men that are ambitious, entrepreneurial, and so I opened basically a ghostwriting agency, and I do business consultations for other entrepreneurs to share my experience and to help them to achieve clarity, which is really what most guys need when they're at the beginning of their journey. Because clarity, if we had clarity, if we knew what to do, then most of the things were not as hard as they actually are. When you go when you know where you're headed. But having clarity and not having is pivotal, right? And so resilience is is really just that, because we're talking about today about resilience, and resilience is really just that muscle that is, it's really just that muscle that we train when when things get rough and we have
It's
to.
it's it's okay. It's okay, Roman. No problem. Let it be. Also, enjoy his life, and let us also continue with our work. Don't worry. Everyone is invited.
Yeah. So this is we were talking, since the topic is resilience. What I'm trying to say here, it's resilience is just that muscle that you build in the face of hardship, in the face of failure, and then when you get up and you try it again, you do that, and this becomes, I think it becomes an essence of who you are. And I think it's underestimated, because I think one of the main signs that you are on the right path to success and to whatever new destiny you have chosen for yourself, like resilience is a major part of that. It's like, really, this is like, if you can, overcome and be wiser, and then have this additional knowledge, and that just be a little bit more, um, yeah, knowledgeable, then this is really, I think resilience is underestimated. Nobody wants to be in that situation, but it's an essential part of, um, entrepreneurship, right? So I think it's it defines us how we respond to critical moments like that in our lives, because we all have them in one shape or form or another. Like, there's nothing special about my story. I mean, other people lose their loved ones, or they lose a leg, or they lose, which is, I'm still I mean, I'm healthy, and I'm still young enough to do it again. I know I've built a company before, I can do that again, and it's just, so yeah, so basically that is, in a nutshell. There's a lot of stories and anecdotes in between that I can share about, but so to give you, to you and your audience, a little bit more like the 30,000 feet overview of who I am. Well, that's pretty much it.
Right, right, Roman. So to understand things better, you talk about rebuilding. So what steps did you take to rebuild your life? After that, so those setbacks in entrepreneurship, how did you get back? It's not about falling in life. It's about falling and then getting up, and rebuilding yourself. How did you do that for yourself?
It all comes down to the things that hold you back, right? So because everyone talks about having good habits, but the easiest way to get good habits is to kick the bad ones to the curb, right? So what are the things that you're doing on a daily basis that do not help to get out? Because a whole, this famous saying that if you're in a hole, then stop digging, right? It's so true, because you ended up in that hole because you just kept digging, right? So, and
Right.
so you want, yeah, that's the reality. And so what it means for each one is, this might be different. In my case, when when the shit hit the fan, I had also had before, and that is goes back to before I even started my first company. I had issues with addictions. So when that happens, I got a relapse, and I had a nervous breakdown and ended up in the hospital, and then they administered me some, biodiazepines, and so I got hooked on that, and then I also did a lot of drinking, so I could forget and not feel, so I didn't have to deal with the immediate impact of those feelings. But obviously, all of that does not help. So you have to. It's just not helpful. It has the opposite effect. And then for me, it was, May 22, because I got back to December 21, spent 2 months in Germany with my parents, and then imagine at age 43, living in your in the after you build a company, then living with your parents, like, this is like a bad movie, man. So it's like, so I said, okay, what am I gonna do? So are you gonna take a job, or are you gonna, or what are you gonna do, right? So we're gonna build something new. So taking a job wasn't really an option. So I said, okay, I had like $1,000 left because and then I bought a ticket to Thailand, and then in Thailand I tapped my last uh, drink, and since then I'm sober. I've never taken. What's really important is like health. Like you cannot do anything if you're not healthy. So you can't do shit like uh, substance abuse. It's just not an option if you want to be good. I mean, there's might be people that can do this because they have a sustained, but I really believe that for me, at least for me, it is not possible. I have to be like clean, good. I exercise every day, work out every day, so get my, like, the meditation, the spiritual side of things. I wrote a book called um photography as meditation, because for me it was always like this balance, out of what I needed, because this fast-paced entrepreneurial life needs some balance. You need to balance it out. You need to get the spiritual side in order too, right? Because you need to have these breath work is really what helped me go through the worst moments. Wim Hof. Wim Hof is this famous guy who developed this Wim Hof breath work method. Really astonishing results with that. You can like, it's like turning around the switch and your brain is calm again. So stuff like that. I mean, I've tried to, because obviously we're not perfect, and I've always there was moments of a lot of despair with no money. So without money, how you build something? And so what I could do, what you can do, is just focusing on the stuff that you can do in that moment is really pivotal. Also, you need to be focusing what is it in your, what is in control, what's not in control. What's not in control is how others react. But using in control, you can start documenting what you're doing. Like, this is what I did. But essentially, when you start writing, for me, it was sort of a therapy. It was meant to be like, so I could like unload all the shit that I had accumulated. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna write to my younger self, because I'm sure that there are other guys that are maybe 25 years old that have similar ideas of success, and they want to hear from what happened. And so that was the only thing I did. And then over time, when you write, when you go about writing has this quality of teaching yourself about how you think in structure. So writing is really powerful stuff, because when you writing is not about teaching others. It's more about teaching yourself how to think, because but this is why, even though AI is a great help, and I use it as well for outlining, I use it for idea generating, I use it for proofreading, I use it for all sorts of things, but the body of work is still written by myself, because it's where you really put the thought in. And so it's writing is clarity, writing is foundation. It doesn't matter if you want to do a book, a video, or any other, if you want a business plan on your mind, or you just want to convince someone, or you send it's always in the written form. This is where we have clarity. And so by writing every day, and I'm not just saying um, in a newsletter, but also in a journaling, like really important stuff. If you're this is another topic. If you're alone a lot, I mean, for me, it was also struggling all my life with loneliness. But ironically, I always chose the part of the lonely wolf. I don't know why, but I always have been. And so when you so it's important to it's crucial to have this self-awareness. And but it sounds easy, but it's not. And it's also, I'm not perfect at this, so I'm just trying to be better than I was the day before. It's not so, but I make it. But when you do, I think I'm a believer that if you, I mean, this is saying that I just finished my last newsletter for I'm gonna publish tomorrow. And when people, like, there's this platitude, never quit, right? Or only quitters are losers, all right? And so this is one of these platitudes that are just not helpful, because um it doesn't. I mean, it's not true, right? Because sometimes quitting is the best option you have, right? You know, it really depends on what you're focusing on, right? Is it a sinking ship? Because if I had quit when I could with this other company, I put all of it into it, then I would have saved myself a lot of suffering. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of things to unpack, and I don't know which which road which path we should continue to go on, but that's about my method. I mean, it's how I go about my daily life.
Absolutely, absolutely, Roman. There is much to learn from you. Learn from your 5 day system that you have built. Learn from your book. Learn from your newsletter. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about how you rebuilt your life, how you are doing things, how you can help them. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
They can just subscribe to my newsletter, and then they can, if they are interested in my help in this case, they can book a call. It's all on my website. There is they can DM me, or they can just book directly the call. I'm open for free consultations where I explain. So this 5 day system that I'm offering is also for clarity. This is what I do in order to, because when you talk to people like we do right now, then and you ask like you do to me right now, you're asking me questions, and by asking good questions you get good answers. And people are often unclear about they people have that. This is actually astonishing. Some people have, we could all have values, but there's a lot of people that have no clarity what their values actually are until you ask them. So if I asked you today right now, okay, write down your 10 values, the most important ones. There's people that know this, right? But also a lot of people that don't. And there's a lot of people that have goals and in their head, and then we're always in our head and we're thinking things. But what I do is I have these strategy sessions where we really deep dive into the goals and the mind and the struggles and why people do things they want to do. And so we deep dive, and when I do that, and I use also then for evaluation afterwards, I put together I specialize on 5 day email courses that allows them meaning my clients, to build sort of a lead magnet they can use to bring their audience to convert to. It depends on what their goals are, right? So but what I do basically is I create content, but not just any content, but valuable content that actually reflects who they are and what they can do for others. And so we uncover what is it that they can give to the world to contribute to their target audience, to their ideal customer. And I help them put this together in a very straightforward, clear way, which is this 5 day system, which they can use then to build authority and growth and using their social. So this is basically about um, content creation and getting clarity, because it's always that where we it's always this when you're on an entrepreneurial journey, it's always about, okay, this is my end goal, and this is how I'm getting there, right? So you want to find those. So yeah, and this is how what I do. I can see where people are in their journey because I've been through a 17-year long one, and I have a track record of going through crisis, so I can detect. I am good at talking to people and understanding where they are and so the emotional layers and stuff, and then when I do that, then it's something valuable comes out that I can deliver.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.